me, I've been a good taxpayer for years now, and I always will be. And then they want to send our hard-earned dollars over to foreign nations and so-called foreign aid to fund things like border walls and bridges and schools and roads.
If someone finds me a video that can start from the beginning,
our tax dollars should stay here in America. Our tax dollars should fund our border wall, our bridges, our schools, our roads. They should help our homeless. They should help our people, our forgotten, our orphans, our foster care children.
Okay.
That's what our hard-earned tax dollars should be doing.
Sure.
Not what these people here have been doing for decades. Those that are in charge have been here for decades.
Is she becoming a socialist live on stream?
Decades. Do you know the average age of retirement? It's around 64, 65 years old in the private sector, but not here in Congress. They cling to power as long as they can because apparently it's addictive and they can't give it up. This is something that I just can't tolerate. I can't take it, and the American people are so sick of it. You see, a record number of Americans voted for President Trump. Record number of Republicans voted for President Trump. Do you want to know why?
Trump was president for 4 years.
They loved his policies.
And he didn't fix
loved
homelessness.
His fight.
What?
They loved the fact that for once we had a president that's for America.
You just said you wanted to spend tax dollars on the homeless people.
And remembered the forgotten man.
What happened?
He was a president that didn't care about your skin color because God created us all equal, and thank God our Constitution.
All right.
And you know what? That's
all right, hold up.
Disgusting too. Everyone here knows.
Found a live stream on Twitter.
Cause this attack on the Capitol. Is this on?
Yeah, she did what I do. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
It's recording. It's recording. You know.
It's recording.
Yeah, it's going.
That's what I do. Hell yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene watches my videos. You can tell she watches my motherfucking videos. All right.
Let me know. Well, first off, thank you all for coming out here today and being willing to hear what I have to say. I just want you to know that for the press,
For those of you that don't know, she was revoked of all her committee positions earlier, that is to say yesterday, and so this is apparently what she's going to do as a public response.
Truly support freedom of press. I think it's one of the things that makes our country so great, and I really hope that you'll be able to tell my story a little bit better instead of just reporting and repeating maybe some things that you don't like about me or things that were on social media in 2018. You see, the reason why I ran for Congress is because I really don't respect what our government has become. As just an ordinary American, someone who's had to work hard all my life, someone who's been married for almost 25 years and raised 3 kids, and I gotta tell you, my 3 kids are the greatest part of my life. That's the best thing I've ever done, is to be a mom. I really love our country, I love our freedoms, and I sincerely want all of your children, my children, and all of us to continue to have the opportunity to have the American dream.
See, that's the thing. It's like, it's all rhetoric to these people. Right? Like, it's all rhetoric. Like, yeah, if you say dumb shit before, all right, that's fine. But you're not, like, it's not like you're fighting for a socialist agenda. Right? It's like, I want my family to have the American dream, and so do you. Like, okay. Great. So why don't you support wealth redistribution from the corporations in Wall Street down to the actual people? What? You know, so I just see, like, you gotta be able to read through the lines here.
You see, we're approaching nearly $30 trillion in debt. As a successful business owner for over 20 years, if I ran my company the way this government runs and spends and wastes and puts us in debt with our own hard-earned tax dollars, I'd be out of business a long time ago and we'd be homeless on the streets. But it's much worse than that. For decades now, this government has sold out our American worker, sent our jobs overseas to foreign countries. We've opened our borders wide open to be flooded with illegals coming into our country. Think about Kate.
I thought you just said that everyone should have the American dream. Now you're talking about illegals? What? Like, what? Okay, so on one end, everyone should have the American dream. On the other end, Americans are illegal. What?
Steinle, who was murdered on a pier in California. She died in her father's arms. Krisha Odette, her father served our country 4 tours in the Middle East, protecting our freedoms. When he came back home, his daughter was killed by an illegal alien in Texas. These are the things that shouldn't happen, but these are the policies that are allowed and continued. Our country has made it legal and funded with our tax dollars over 62 million abortions, murdering God's creation in the womb. That is a sin, a disgusting evil that is unfathomable. I can't even believe that it continues. But here's the thing. All of these women that have gone through that, it leaves a hole in their soul that
only
never
the
heals.
really,
And those women have been taught
I
that
hate
this
to
is the way
say
that they
this,
should achieve.
but those
This
with
is
the
way they
lowest
can build a
IQ.
career. This is a way that they can solve the problem that they didn't want in the first place. That's a horrible lie. It's a terrible lie. As a mother and a woman who's had a successful career, I can tell you being a mom is the greatest gift of my life. I really hope that America can end the evil of abortion. I also want you to know that free speech matters. Free speech really matters. And yesterday, when the Democrats and 11 of my Republican colleagues decided to strip me of my committee assignments, Education and Labor and the Budget Committee, you know what they did? They actually stripped my district of their voice. They stripped my voters of having representation to work for them for the budget. A successful business owner that knows how to make a profit, not a loss. That's what my district voted for me for. I'm a mom with 3 kids who has taken my children to gun-free school zones their entire time they went to school. And when I was in 11th grade at 16 years old, when Joe Biden created gun-free school zones, one of my schoolmates brought 3 guns to school on a school bus in a duffel bag, brought them into the school in the first period class because he was very upset at 2 of his classmates. He pulled out his weapon, went to take control. The coach in the classroom knocked him to the floor, but he was able to reach in and get another one of his guns, fired his weapon, took control of our school, and we were held hostage in our classrooms for 5 hours. I want you to know, I know that fear that David Hogg felt. It's terrifying. It's terrifying when the only person in the building with a gun is very upset and is there to do evil. And there's no good guy with any guns to protect us. That's why when I was in Washington, I could go from Senate office to Senate office just like David Hogg and say, vote no to gun control, because we need our Second Amendment rights. We need to be able to protect.
I'm just like, the audacity right now of this caucasity. Okay, so I've been in a classroom that was taken over, right, by a school shooter. Therefore, we need more guns.
Our children with good guys with guns, just like the people up here protected themselves with 30,000 National Guard troops. Imagine that. They want to leave our children defenseless, but they will surround this place with a big, beautiful border wall and a whole bunch of good guys with guns. See these?
You shouldn't have said beautiful. You fucked it up, because the border wall around the Capitol was not beautiful. But her talking points, her NPC script just fucked up a little bit.
These are the policies that disgust me. These are the policies that disgust the American people. And these are the policies of hypocrites. You see, when the people in charge want to just spend your money and you have no choice but to give it to them, and believe me, I've been a good taxpayer for years now, and I always will be. And then they want to send our hard-earned dollars over to foreign nations and so-called foreign aid to fund things like border walls and bridges and schools and roads and abortion. That's wrong. Our tax dollars should stay here in America. Our tax dollars should fund our border wall, our bridges, our schools, our roads. They should help our homeless. They should help our people, our forgotten, our orphans, our foster care children. That's what our hard-earned tax dollars should be doing. Not what these people here have been doing for decades. Those that are in charge have been here for decades. Decades. Do you know the average age of retirement? It's around 64, 65 years old in the private sector. But
we already listened to that
and
part.
remembered the forgotten. It's because they loved his policies. They didn't. He was a president that wanted every single person to achieve. And that's why we supported him. That's why I've always supported him.
But he didn't do that. Trump was president for 4 years. He could have, with the stroke of a pen, eliminated student loan debt, which would have given people the ability to start their own businesses. He didn't do that. Why didn't he do that? Donald Trump could have legalized marijuana so that people would not be sent to jail for just having a fun weekend once in a while. He didn't do that. Why didn't he do that? Donald Trump was president of the United States. Why didn't he end homelessness? Why didn't he put all of our homeless veterans during a pandemic in winter in like hotel rooms or something? Why didn't he do that? He was president, motherfucker. What?
I want to tell you, Republican voters support him still. The party is his. It doesn't belong to anybody else.
Here we go.
This
Here we
impeachment
go.
trial that's going to happen next week is a circus. It's a circus that allows media companies to get lots of clicks, lots of views, and sell ad dollars. And you know what? That's pretty disgusting too. Everyone.
That's what I was going to do until YouTube demonetized me. Reminder, I'm going to be streaming the entirety of the impeachment trial. Reminder, super chats are disabled. Reminder, PayPal, Cash App, buddy, Patreon, let's go.
Here knows that he did not cause this attack on the Capitol, nor did I, nor did any Republican, but the responsibility falls squarely on those that invaded the Capitol, the ones that planned it ahead of time. Those are the people that should be held accountable. I was in the chamber, unlike AOC, Representative Ocasio-Cortez, that faked her outrage with another hoax. Just another hoax that gets...
She, like, okay, for those of you that don't know about this conspiracy theory, which, by the way, has been elevated by people like Nico House and Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald, this conspiracy theory is that because AOC was in a different building, that somehow means that she was perfectly safe, right? Now, let's imagine, right? Now, by the way, she wasn't really even in a different building. She was just in a separate part of the halls of Congress. But let's imagine, right? You get notifications on your phone. The house has been evacuated, right? Okay, let's imagine that. And you are in your office and someone barges into your office. Now, the only information you have is that rioters are trying to kill lawmakers. They stormed the Capitol, cops let them in, and they're trying to kill lawmakers. You are a lawmaker. Like, so what if after the fact, right? If after the fact, all of a sudden, oh, rioters were not in her section of the hall. Okay. That doesn't mean that it's not traumatic all of a sudden when, again, the only information you know is your friends in the House chamber have been evacuated and you're in your office and someone barges. That doesn't, there's no, what you find out after the fact has no relevance on the trauma that is there at that moment. So this is a very stupid, dumb conspiracy theory that is even being propagated in, again, these red-brown leftist circles like Jimmy Dore, Nico House, Glenn Greenwald, etc. So you need to be understanding of what this is. It's dumb, shit-fuck garbage.
It's shared everywhere. You see, those kind of fake lies, like AOC, Representative Cori Bush telling people that I attacked her, when in fact it was on video that she attacked me.
No one said, she did not say that you attacked her. She said that she was berated by you, which, again, I covered Marjorie's video upload, and that's objectively what happened. She was just wandering down the hallway, just like, doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. And Cori Bush was like, she was maskless and just around me, which is, again, a health and safety violation. And then Marjorie, as soon as she was called out, she put her mask on and was like, whoop-a-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. So she's literally lying. The whole reason she uploaded that video is so that she can do this. So that she can say, I uploaded the video and it proves her wrong. Her people aren't going to go look at the video. And if they do, they're going to somehow think, because they're just brainwashed, right? They're going to somehow think that she's correct. But most of the people listening to this that are, her fans still, they're not going to go watch that video. They've got no reason to. Right? So that's what you have to understand.
This is the kind of fake outrage that is dividing our Congress, along with the fake outrage on the news every single day that's dividing our people. You know what the media does, and you guys are great at it. And I'm telling you this because I want to like you. But you're doing a really good job at addicting our nation to hate. Teaching people to hate people like me.
So wait a second. You literally started your press conference by calling Americans illegal aliens. You literally advocated for a big, beautiful border wall to protect us from illegal aliens. And now, all of a sudden, oh! Why do the Democrats hate? There's so much hate. Oh. Why do the Democrats hate? Oh, they're so filled with hate. By the way, those illegal aliens, we got to get them out of here.
President Trump, and then on the right, it's the same way. Teaching people to hate AOC, Ilhan Omar, Nancy Pelosi. See, it goes both ways, doesn't it?
Whoa, wait a second. What? What?
Teaching people to hate people like me, President Trump, and then on the right, it's the same way. Teaching people to hate AOC, Ilhan Omar, Nancy Pelosi. See, it goes both ways, doesn't it?
Well, you just called AOC a liar. So, I mean, like, what? Like, I mean, again, in the words of our former president, and I don't want to lean on this too much, but I will lean a little bit more.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
What? Like, again, why do they hate? Why?
That teaching people to hate and addicting them to it is killing our country.
That's
it's causing
true.
people to no longer be friends, families
That's
to no
true.
longer talk to each other.
That's
Even
true.
Husband and wives getting divorced.
That's
Parents
true.
not talking to their children. And
That's
the other
true.
way around.
That's correct. And it's all because of people like you, Marjorie. It's not because, like, again, you came up here saying AOC's a liar, illegal aliens are evil. It's because of people like you. You are responsible. But, it's the Democrats. They hate.
I think that's terrible and it's shameful.
It is. I agree.
When
So why
have
you keep
such
doing
a
it?
platform as you have, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want your legacy to be the platform that destroyed our nation and caused our people to hate one another? Or would you rather be a platform that told the truth because you're given the great gift, the freedom of press, so that you can tell the truth? I would love for you to be that platform, and I would be so proud of you. I wouldn't be mad at
Is she talking in the mirror? What is this? I don't get it.
any of you. I had the greatest opportunity yesterday, and I'm so grateful for it. I got to say what I had done wrong. And do you know how freeing that is? I'm not kidding. I seriously feel blessed by God because I got to do it on a world stage. I got to say, I said things wrong. I believe things that were wrong. And you know what? I'm so happy I got to do that. My district is thrilled with me.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, yes, like, I agree with this. Like, that's the thing. It's like, there's parts of this that, like, I feel like it, depending on, like, who listens to it, it might actually be slightly beneficial. Because, again, like, if she is going to try to disempower Q and put that back into, like, a, quote, like, in their mind, reasonable Republican kind of mindset, I think that is a net positive for, like, on people for an individual level, right? So, like, when it, like, I've had family members, and I've talked about this before. I have people in my family that over the course of the summer, especially during a lot of the Black Lives Matter protests, they were falling heavily into QAnon. They were like Trump, like they kind of like Trump, but not really. But because of that, like, oh, the media hates Trump, so that means, blah, blah, blah. They started falling for QAnon. And if it weren't for me, like, I intervened, if it were not for me, they might be a full-blown Jewish space laser person. They might be, right? But because I was able to intervene, because before it got too bad, I was able to save them from that rabbit hole, right? So you need to understand there's a lot of, like, again, especially if, people are not, like, talking every day, or people are, like, maybe you only see each other once and there's a pandemic going on, so you're stuck inside. People, like, all of a sudden they go from, oh, what's grandma up to? And then you check her Facebook and she's talking about space lasers, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, again, if she can somehow disempower that, that's a good thing. However, we know she's lying, right? Like, she's lying. She's a lying bitch, right? So it's like, okay, whatever.
I got to do it on a world stage. I got to say, I said things wrong. I believe things that were wrong. And you know what? I'm so happy I got to do that. My district is thrilled with me. People are all over the country are thankful and supporting me. And for that, I'm grateful to them. None of us are perfect. And when we go about our life thinking that we are, we're such hypocrites. Truthfully, we really are. If we think we're perfect and can judge one another, that's such a mistake.
I agree.
So going forward, I've been freed. I do. I feel freed because you know what's happening on these committees? You see, we have basically a tyrannically controlled government right now. The Democrats. We got Joe Biden writing executive order after executive order, sign him, sign him, sign him, doing whatever he wants up there in the White House.
That's literally what Trump did, though. Like, that's what that's 4 years. Like, that's what Trump did. That, like, 4 years ago, Trump did the same thing. So
We have Nancy Pelosi leading the Democrats.
Like, you have to understand, like, in 2017, Republicans controlled the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And they did the same exact thing.
Congress to do whatever the bail bond links to get the criminals out of jail. Pelosi leading the Democrats, doing whatever he wants up there in the White House. We have Nancy Pelosi leading the Democrats in Congress to do whatever the bail bond links to get the criminals out
That's
of
a
jail.
weird cut. That's a weird cut. What is
They wouldn't
that?
kick me off committees for
How do
social
you
media
cut
posts
in a
and
live stream? I
conspiracy
guess it
theories.
was just, like, dropped or whatever.
That's pretty hypocritical. You see, the American people won't forget because they're still reeling from the devastation of this past year, where cities were burned, people were attacked, police officers still dealing with it, attacked night after night. They take that home with them and it hurts their families. Occupying federal buildings, taking over police precincts. So much damage, tearing down statues and monuments, erasing our history. This is what has happened. I do not condone what happened on January 6th. It was one of the scariest days of my life, next to being held hostage in a gun-free school zone, when one of my fellow students took it over with a gun, and no one protected us. No one could.
Someone definitely
terrible.
fact check that.
So I'm going to ask all of you, think about what you report. When
Wait.
you're on the news calling...
Hold on. I'm getting a live fact check. Apparently, I'm on my phone. I'm reading this on my phone, so I'm just going to read it off my phone. A beleaguered Northwest Georgia Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, defended herself Thursday on the floor of the U.S. House. She referred to a 1990 hostage situation at Forsyth County High School to explain her position on gun rights. In her speech, Greene, who has promoted lies about everything, Hogg, who was 19 at the time, blah, blah, blah. On Thursday, she said on the House floor, I understand, blah, blah, blah. Greene appeared to be referencing September 1990 standoff at South Forsyth County High School. Greene was enrolled at the school at the time, but wasn't among the hostages, a Forsyth County school's spokesman said, adding that she could not confirm whether Greene attended that day. To our knowledge, she was not in either classroom, said the spokeswoman, Jennifer Caricchilio. She said she had spoken with a retired teacher who was among the hostages in the hours-long standoff. The rest of the students in the school, which held about 1,000 at the time, were evacuated and bused to a nearby elementary school. So it turns out that, yes, that was her school, but no, she was not there, according to reports.
It's peaceful protest. The American people are disgusted with you because you're lying. When you're...
Hold up. Now, with that new information...
Peaceful protest. The American people are disgusted with you because you're lying. When you're promoting people that protect these things and want to continue it, people are sick of it. They're fed up because they lost their businesses. And they may have gotten hurt. And they're tired of being attacked because they want to wear a red hat that says Make America Great Again. Or they voted for Trump and we're proud of it. Things have got to change. And I tell you again, I'm fine with being kicked off of my committees because it'd be a waste of my time. You know who I am. I'm a very hard worker and I'm proud of it. So now I have a lot of free time on my hands, which means I can talk to a whole lot more people all over this country, and I can talk to more people and make connections and build a huge amount of support that I've already got started with people that want to put America first and don't care about the party lines and don't care about any of the political identities involved. And that's something that I am very excited about. So I look forward to going home and seeing people in my district. I'm thankful and overwhelmed by their support. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to say the things that I don't believe and I shouldn't have said in the first place. And I'm really grateful to my God because he forgives me. And that's what...
Is your God Donald Trump? Who's your God?
Christian.
Why did she say my God? Like, what?
And I'm really grateful to my God because he forgives me. And that's what being a Christian is all about. I have a message to other Christians in this...
So wait a second. So being a Christian is all about forgiveness. Yet, you said you lied. Yet, you're going to go after AOC because you think she lied? Even though it's just a misinterpretation because you don't understand what she's saying. This whole idea of like, oh, forgive me, please. Oh. And then she goes on the flip side to spew more dumbass conspiracy theories in the same breath. It's bizarre.
Country. Don't be lukewarm. That's not what your faith is for. Our Savior died on a cross so your sins can be forgiven, and he doesn't want you to be quiet about it.
I'm sorry. I know that there's like maybe people in my audience that actually believe this shit, but it's like, can we talk about like religion for what it is? Like, I'm sorry. Like, so, okay, let me get this straight. Let me understand. Okay. So someone hopped up on a cross and was murdered, right? And that somehow makes it okay for you to lie about Jewish space lasers? What? Like, I mean, if you want to say you fucked up and you said dumb shit, that's fine, right? And if you want to say that you now are completely in disagreement with that, that's fine, and that's good, and that should be encouraged, right? But it's like, I'm sorry, I don't think some dude getting murdered on a cross has anything to do with it. I'm sorry, but it's
I want
like...
you to share the gospel and share it with everyone. That being said, I'm going to let you guys go about your day. I know you got many things. Yeah, I'll take some questions. Yeah.
Questions, let's go. Oh, you can't hear that shit. Oh, I can barely hear it. I'm going to try to listen to it carefully and then translate it.
With everyone. That being said, I'm going to let you guys go about your day. I know you got many things. Yeah, I'll take some questions. Yeah.
ask you specifically. I know you talked yesterday. I listened to your speech, but you said on a video in January 2019. I'm just going to read it to you verbatim. You said it's been taken out of context.
Who are you with? What's your name?
I'm Jessica Greene.
With
CNN. By our law, representatives and senators can be kicked out and no longer serve in our government, and it's a crime punishable by death.
You can read the captions.
Did you see my speech yesterday? How many stories did you report on Russian collusion
can barely
conspiracy
hear.
lies? No, I want to know, have you?
Yeah, I'll take some questions. We gotta stop being so divisive. How? Russia! How many times did you
Yesterday, how many stories did you report on Russian collusion conspiracy lies? No, I want to know, have you apologized for Russian collusion conspiracy lies? Have you? I don't have to. I think you heard my speech yesterday. You owe the people an apology. You lied about President Trump. You owe the people an apology. I've done mine.
You also lied about President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is where it gets good. You also lied. You said President Trump supports America. He doesn't. Why didn't he end homelessness? Why didn't he legalize marijuana? Why didn't he provide health care for all citizens? He ran on giving health care to everybody, and he didn't do it. In fact, he took health care away from people. So you lied about President Trump too, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yesterday. Okay, next question. Did any of you hear my speech yesterday?
I gotta say, like, she's kind of having a meltdown, right? But I'm honestly a little impressed by the fact that she's holding her cool. Like being up there and having people like yelling at you for being an idiot and saying that they don't buy any of your lies. I mean, that's got to be stressful, right? So I'm just saying, like, let's see, like, this might get good.
You regret saying that she is guilty of treason and deserving of death.
Congressman, what do you see as your role here going forward?
My role is the job I got elected to do. I'm going to vote very conservative, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment.
How can you say you want to end homelessness and then say I'm going to vote pro-conservative? Like, what? Okay, so earlier, like, you kept that. Oh, did you listen to my speech? Well, I'm listening. You said you wanted to end homelessness. All right. If a bill comes to the floor, a housing guarantee, are you going to vote for it? That's what I would ask.
Pro-border, pro-America, pro-American businesses, pro-economy, pro-jobs. We need to reopen this country. We need to put kids back in schools. Keeping them at home is killing our children. Depression is high, suicide's high. We canceled prom, canceled graduation, canceled their lives. I'm going to be working hard on those policies, and I'm going to be holding the Republican Party accountable and pushing them to the right.
Can I follow up on that? What do you say to those 11 Republicans?
Thank you. Jen Pellegrino with OAN. You mentioned AOC.
OAN, you see that? Look at that face. She knew. She's like, OAN! Let's go. Listen, I'm sorry if you can barely hear it, but listen, let's go.
I'm going to be holding the Republican Party accountable and pushing them to the right.
Can I follow up on that? What do you say to those 11 Republicans?
Thank you. Jen Pellegrino with OAN. You mentioned AOC, and I wanted to ask you about that. You know, your supporters commonly know you as MTG. There's a lot of comparisons that could be made as a freshman in Congress making waves.
She's asking about comparing MTG to AOC.
Receiving positive and negative attention on both sides of the aisle. Would you say that perhaps you've maybe scared Democrats in the media as well, in the same way that AOC, when she stepped on the scene, kind of made waves among Republicans?
I'd say there's a comparison between us and the fact that we really don't care what other people think about us, because I can say that for myself. I've never met her, but I assume she probably feels that way. But there's a major difference in us. AOC embraces policies of socialism to what you could call communism.
Okay, earlier in this press conference, you said you wanted to end homelessness. AOC wants to end homelessness. So when AOC wants to end homelessness, communist. When I say I want to end homelessness, I'm a patriot. What?
She wants to have all the power, and then the people that she claims she wants to help, her policies would reduce.
AOC wants to, like, have all the what is she even saying? Like, in her brain, like, again, because she's a dumb motherfucker, so in her brain it's like AOC, communist, have all the power. AOC wants all the power, she is communist. Like, what does that mean?
Reduce them to poverty, and they wouldn't have many freedoms left. So there's a big difference than us.
So AOC is a communist because she's a communist, and we all know communism is when you make people poor. What? Like,
I support our Constitution and all of our freedoms, and I'll work very hard against her policy.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, only the...
Jen?
Yes, one more question.
No,
So
that's
Representative
not
Adam
it. You
Kinzinger
asked
this
somebody
morning
else's
on
question.
Twitter,
That's
he
not
said,
fair. She already had
there's
a
no
question.
remorse
You
here
should
for your
answer
past
other people's
comments, just a
questions.
huge desire to be famous.
If you didn't hear that, someone in the background, you should answer other people's questions, because this now she's double dipping from OAN.
But there's no remorse
You
here
should
for your
answer
past
other people's
comments, just a
questions.
huge desire to be famous. What do you say to him and the other 10 Republicans that voted against or voted for removing you from the committee?
Well, there were 10 that voted for impeachment against President Trump, and they definitely paid the price they heard from Republican voters. There were 11 that voted against me yesterday, and that's something that our leaders should be very upset about. Kevin McCarthy and the rest of the Republican Party is working hard on taking back the majority, and when you have Republicans in the ranks voting against one of their own, opening the door for Democrats to go after every single Republican next, that really is a big betrayal, and that could cost us the majority in 22. People are very angry. That's all I've heard from people all morning, furious about that. So I hope that my Republican colleagues really think about what they've done. I'm sure they're going to hear from their voters at home, because the base is loyal to President Trump, and the base has been very loyal to me, and they've shown me that. Yeah.
My question is there anything that you have said that you now want to say I'm sorry for? Not just you regret or walk back, but is there anything you are sorry for saying in the past?
She's asking if she apologizes, and what she apologizes for, rather than just saying she's moved on or something. Decent question. I would rather ask her about the homeless thing, but, you know, whatever.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry for saying all those things that are wrong and offensive. And I sincerely mean that. And I'm happy to say that. I think it's good to say when we've done something wrong. So, yeah, that's easy for me.
I agree with that, but I mean, I don't. That's a dumb question. It's a dumb question.
Yes.
You publicly apologized yesterday.
Congresswoman, are you sorry to David Hogg? What you said to him and about him?
David Hogg was an adult when I talked to him. I don't think any of you have realized that. David Hogg was working with the organization they were going around working hard for strict gun control laws. I'm very opposed to those policies. And so being in the same situation as David Hogg, my voice matters too. And so
Reminder, she made that up.
no, I'm not sorry for telling him he shouldn't push for gun control. What we need to do is we need to protect our children. I think you're expecting we should protect our children.
I hope she is expecting, but I just, wow. I mean,
and your baby as well.
That's not something you
with
should
good
say
guys
to
with
people.
guns and not allow them to be sitting there sitting ducks. Yeah, thank you.
You talked earlier about the media teaching people to hate, but wasn't it you who liked a page on
so this is a good one. The media teaching people to hate, but wasn't it you?
Facebook a comment saying Nancy Pelosi should get a bullet to the head? And
But you said that Nancy Pelosi should get a bullet to the head, while you're claiming that Democrats and the media tell people to hate. So, pretty good question.
You know, this reminds me of when you guys would ask President Trump, President Trump, do you
Deflect. So earlier she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, sincerely so sorry about everything I did. And then when someone else is like, are you sorry about, calling to kill Nancy Pelosi? And she's like, what you did to President Trump! Ah! Right? It's like, okay.
denounce white supremacy? And he would say, I denounce it. And then you would ask him again, and he would have to say, I denounce it.
those comments yesterday, did you? In your
I have said it.
those specifically.
Here's the thing.
The stream
When
seems to be
you
cutting
wanna
off
keep
soon.
telling the same story over and over, but you don't want to tell the truth. That's your problem.
were among the most
And that's how we end press conferences. Okay.
Alright, she just walks away. Alright. She just walks away. I don't like having live streams end while it's screen recording, because then you can see what the YouTube algorithm recommends to me, and I find that to be awkward, so that's why I shut the thing off. But she just walked away. Alright, that was a waste of my fucking time. But whatever. Isn't Biden supposed to be saying something today as well? What's going on with Biden? Are we riding with Biden here in this chat room? I'm gonna be honest. If Biden is streaming, I don't care, so I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that's basically my show for today. Wow, that was you know, a little bit bizarre, but you know, I expected it to be bizarre. But yeah, there you go. Again, what I would recommend doing is absolutely replying to this tweet and backing me up. Let's get it done. That's gotta happen. I'm crying with Biden. I'm also crying with Biden. You want people to know what YouTube recommends to you? I don't want people to know. I just, you know, it's an invasion of my privacy, so. Thank God. I hope the last press conference of hers we have to watch. I mean, I love Marjorie Taylor Greene as far as content is concerned. She is extremely fun to just mock. Like, she's just dumbest of the dumb.